Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I want to talk about everything you need to know about the Secret Summoner Archetype in Remnant 2. I've been having an absolute blast with this one because I do love a good minion-based build. Pairing this with the Handler is absolutely hilarious, so I'm going to touch on where to obtain this. It's not all that difficult, but it is something that is going to be tricky to find if you don't know where to look. Also, checking out the skills, perks, and some gameplay, all that kind of good stuff. But let's just jump right into it. So, you're going to find this on Yesha and be able to purchase a Faded Grimoire from the Blood Moon Altar. Now, that's not all that difficult to find. It's going to be on one of the overland maps. You can purchase a bunch of different things from the Blood Moon Altar as well. So, you're definitely going to want to farm Blood Moon Essence, which is going to be the main currency that is going to allow you to purchase these things. But in order to find them, you're gonna have to be on Yesha during a blood moon phase. So you'll see that it's going to be very dark on the map, and if you look up, you actually see an eclipsing moon. So that's very, very cool to watch. I showed off a little bit of that. But then you're going to kind of patrol the map and you're going to see these floating wisps that are purple. You shoot them and it'll grant you a blood moon essence. Now, keep in mind a couple tips. One, you can do this in co-op with multiple teammates, and if one of you shoots it, then all of you get the Blood Moon Essence, so it makes it a lot easier to explore the map. But if you are wanting to farm the Blood Moon Essence as much as possible, you're going to be able to leave the map and come back eventually over the course of time and still have it, but that's only done if you leave by one of the doors. If you fast travel, it might not be a blood moon phase the next time you go back there. So you're going to have to load out and load back in several times until you do get a blood moon phase. And once you do that, once you get your 15 blood moon essence, you can purchase the Faded Grimoire, take that to Wallace, and purchase the Summoner Archetype. So it's not complicated, but it is somewhat tricky if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Again, I would highly recommend purchasing as much of the things from the Blood Moon Altar as you possibly can and farming that Blood Moon Essence whenever you're on Yesha and it is a Blood Moon phase. So keep that in mind. Now, jumping into the archetype, we have the prime perk Ruthless. When the summoner deals damage to their minion, it causes them to enrage. Minions gains 30% increased damage, attack speed, and movement speed in last 20 seconds. So that's a pretty interesting prime perk. But that's why I like it, but it's not crazy. So I'm often going to be using the Summoner Archetype as my secondary instead of my primary, because I'm more focused on another prime perk unless I have the other archetype all the way leveled up to 10 and then I don't worry about it. Then we've got the skills. We've got Minion Hollow. Summons a Root Hollow minion to fight by your side. Costs 15% of max health to summon, but will not kill the summoner. Sacrifice the Root Hollow minions to explode, dealing 150 damage within 5.2 meters. Reduces skill to cooldown by up to 50% based on the remaining health of each minion sacrificed. Then we've got the Minion Flyer. Summons a Root Minion Flyer to fight by your side. Costs 10% of max health to summon, but will not kill the summoner. Same thing with the Hollow minion. The Flyer minion can have a max of 2, whereas the last one, the Reaver, can only have a max of 1. A hold sacrifice Root Flyer minions, dealing 50 damage within 3.15 meters, and spawning 3 homing projectiles will explode on contact for 150 damage each. Reduces skill cooldown by up to 50% based on the remaining health of each minion sacrificed. Now, the final one is going to be the Reaver. Summon a Root Reaver minion to fight by your side. Costs 35% of max health to summon. Will not kill the summoner. Hold sacrifice Root Reaver minion, dealing 200 damage within 6.3 meters and spawning Spore Bombs, which bounce and explode on contact for 200 damage each. Reduces skill down by up to 50% based on remaining health of minions. So this one is tricky, right? In order to run this subclass, the archetype, you're going to need ways to keep your health up at all times. So if you have a weapon that is able to do like some kind of life leech and really allow you to regenerate your health without having to use your relic often, that really comes in handy. So something like the Nightfall is very, very nice for this combination, so keep that in mind. Then we get to the traits. Dominator is the damage perk. Increases mod and skill damage by 3.5% while a minion is active. Sacrifice a minion increases range and melee damage by 3% for 30 seconds or until another minion is summoned. And then increases with summoner level. Then we've got Residue. Minions that expire leave a 3-meter aura, which heals 2.5% health per second. So this is where it gets very, very good. Until you have this perk unlocked, it can be hard to stay alive, but this is going to be very nice. Once they die, the minions, you're going to be able to heal yourself, which is nice. It's not a lot of healing, but it's just something to keep in mind. Then we go Outrage. Sacrifice grants 3% life steal for each minion sacrificed. Again, that healing can be very, very clutch, but it's not going to override what you lose oftentimes. So keep that in mind as you're playing. You're going to have to try to make sure you're healing as often as possible. And then we've got the final one in sight. Using a relic grants minions 5% max HP per second and increases their damage up by 15%. So when you use a relic, you're going to want to keep your minions out there for a little bit longer. Then finally, we have the archetype trait. Regrowth increases health regeneration by 0.15%. This one is a must-have archetype. I do very much like it, and especially if you have a way to get your health regeneration going at all times. If maybe you use a relic that is going to regenerate your health over time, this one is going to be very nice, especially as you level it up. Overall, I do very much enjoy this one. It is a bit of risk reward, and you're not going to see like insane high DPS numbers with this one. So that's something to keep in mind for sure, because the combinations are going to be more for fun. Like, this is a fun archetype rather than one that's really going to shine at this point in the end game. I think there will be some builds that you'll see that people will run on the highest difficulties, but overall, this one is more meant for fun gameplay, playing with your friends and whatever. And if you just, like I said, you really like having companion or minion builds, this one is going to be perfect for you because of how many you can have at a time. Essentially, you can have your dog companion as well as 2 of your other minions if you have 2 of the smaller ones, and it's just going to create your own little mini army, which is quite hilarious. I do kind of hope they buff your minions and companions going forward at a certain point, because I would love to see this be more viable as a true endgame build, and that's the only downside to this. But if you do enjoy minion builds, if you don't mind making up for your lost health when you do summon these, then I would highly recommend checking this out, trying to obtain it. It's not all that difficult, and just seeing for yourself if you do enjoy this archetype as much as I do, because it is one that is more for fun than anything, and I do really enjoy using it. So that's how to get it. That's all the skills and perks and all that kind of good stuff. I hope you enjoy the rest of the gameplay. I'm definitely going to show off a little bit more. My name is Jopa. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more Remnant 2 content from me going forward. I have been absolutely blessed this month with all the support on the channel. As somebody who really didn't dive deep into Remnant from the Ashes, it has meant the world to me. I am relatively new to the franchise. I did play Remnant from the Ashes a bit, but not as much as a lot of other people. And this game has really captured my attention, so I've really loved making content on it and really checking out all the various archetypes and everything. So anyway, my name is Jopa. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.